is this an example of getting more shots at the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what the shot total was against Philadelphia. I mean, some games invite that style of play. Like the Philadelphia game was a totally different game. It was tight checking. It was fight for space game. Tonight it was a little bit more of an open ice game. Quite frankly, that kind of scares me a bit against these guys. But we were able to dig in, particularly when we get down. We didn't start out too well, 2-0, but the bench was positive. And we were fortunate to get into a rhythm. We were just, like you said, getting shots down and trying to get some loose puck recoveries off the blue line shots. I think in the second period in particular, it kind of fed our momentum and our confidence.
What does it say about this group to be able to fight through so many things tonight where, you know, their power play is clicking, your power play isn't, and you're down 2 goals, and it could have been a game that got away from you like some of them did last year?
Yeah, I mean, but I've said this repeatedly, like, excuse me, the team has a lot of belief. They're really a good group of people. I think we've got, like I've talked about, the age gaps with the 30-year-olds plus and then the 23-year-old and youngest, and there's only like Troy and Fabry in the middle there. And the older guys, I think, have taken ownership of the young guys, which is what you want. You know, I think they've been able to take the messaging from the coaches and apply it to not only the games but the practices as well. And to speak to your point, like when the game, you know, could have gone the other direction, it was 2-0. The bench was real positive. Guys were encouraging guys to stick with the game plan, which, you know, for us against a team like that, we just got to get the puck deep. You can't mess around with the puck at the blue line and turn it over. And I just think they kept recycling the same things over and over again. And I really think it calmed the bench down. And obviously, when Cutter scored the first goal, it gave us a sense of belief that we could compete with them.
I have to imagine when you put Cutter, Fabry, and Mac T together, this is the kind of game you're envisioning. I mean, not just the production, but the tenacity, the teamwork between them. You know, a lot of guys in the room were saying that they felt like this has been building kind of since they've been put together.
Well, you're asking about the team or Mac T?
I'm talking about the Mac T line, yeah.
Well, so Mac T's been driving, that line's been driving our team for a good chunk of the since I think the Montreal game. I don't remember when I put them together, but they've been driving the team, and like actually Stromey's line, which was driving the team, has kind of slipped a little bit, and that team's, and they have a different dynamic because they're trying to go out against McDavid. They'd be kind of hybrid checking line that generates offense, but yeah, Mac T's line has been doing really well. I mean, Mac T I thought was dominant at times tonight. He was dominant on the face-off dot, and when your sentiment's going like that, it's easy for the wings just to, you know, to mirror that speed and that tenacity up and down the ice.
You put Trouba Dumoulin together and then gave them the McDavid matchup.
Yeah.
What did you see from them, and do you feel like that's a viable shutdown pair in the future?
Yes, I mean, let's look at the two of them optically, right? They played a ton of games. You know, one guy's got 2 Stanley Cups, the other guy's been to the finals, I believe. And, you know, Trouba's, he's a very calm guy. He's got this image as a violent hitter, so he's got that kind of image as a player. But if you watch him, he's very cerebral. He does little subtle things on breakouts. He doesn't just hammer it up the wall. And I think with Brian, you know, tonight we use him in that role. When he's in that role, he just keeps things simple. We talked about it before the game with that pair. Like, just keep it simple and, you know, and just prioritize defending. And they did an awesome job with it. I think while they were doing that, they were also getting us out of our zone quickly, and that's what you want to do against McDavid's line.
You know, the third period yesterday, it felt like things were a little flat at points, but tonight they really came on to the Oilers in a strong way. What kind of made the difference in that?
Again, I don't think we were that flat in the third period. I mean, I watched the tape. It was like they got the goal and they played a smart game, and they make you fight for ice and space. And then the messaging was the same. It's a 3-3 game as opposed to a 1-1. Like, we're trying to reverse psychology here. It's like, I don't care if we're tied. Like, you got to go out and play it like we're down a goal. Play on your toes. We're a young team. We're trying to emerge as a potential playoff team, and you know, we've got to skate through the third period. We can't play measured and on our heels. So, you know, there was the same messaging tonight. I thought Edmonton, you know, got control of the game a little bit there, and they got it deep, and we were able to survive some of their rushes and their offensive zone chances. But then we were able to come back and pen them in their zone, which again, goes back to reinforcing the image of attacking.
It's been a little bit of a struggle for Leo offensively. He's been drawing penalties. He drew one tonight. But what do you kind of have to do to get him going a little bit more?
Who are you talking about?
Leo?
I thought Leo skated. I think the word when I think about Leo was when he's tenacious and he's strong on pucks. I think you see him; he's more visible. I didn't really catalog his shifts tonight from the bench, but when he's doing those things, he's getting his hands over puck battles and winning them, and he's driving the play with his skating. I thought tonight he did, enough of that. Like whether it was his A game or not, I don't know, but I think we all. And I say this to Leo in an honorable way, like he can be a dominant player. It's up to him to take control of his assets and apply them every game.
You have 7 really good defensemen, and you had to sit Owen tonight. We've talked about this before, but how do you kind of manage that rotation with Pavel coming back and having a good game? Hellison gets a goal tonight.
Well, that's a game-to-game thing, and I think sometimes the lefties, like I've said, there's 4 lefties. I think when Helly's in the lineup, it gives us just better chemistry with lefties and righties. I mean, his goal's another example of it. That goal doesn't happen if it's a lefty. It doesn't get off his stick quick. When he shot it from the blue line, it was a knuckleball that went in. So I don't really want to lose that chemistry, and therefore you have Minty and Zelli that are kind of battling for ice time, and I think that's a healthy thing.
Zellweger sitting tonight didn't have anything to do with the turnover at the end.
No.
yesterday.
Zelli, I'll tell you one thing about Zelli. That kid, like he's Teflon. Like nothing bothers him. You can bite into him and he gets it. Like he's here in the morning and he was like anxious to play. And we told him we weren't going with him, and he's like, okay, he'll be on the ice tomorrow. He's like a coach's dream. He's totally invested. He doesn't get affected. He doesn't have a pity party if he's not playing. So it's a blessing to have someone like that on our team.